All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Oh, you guys are so good. That's amazing. How did everybody just suddenly get so quiet? I promise you, you will have much more opportunity to eat and have a drink and talk to each other. I hate interrupting everybody. What a beautiful night this is. And that's only part of what's going on out there and the fact that it's actually a beautiful night. This is one of those things that for many, many years has been a really beautiful night for me. My name is Ali Velshi, by the way. I'm a host on a TV station called MS Now. You probably all know it as MSNBC. Thank you. But I have had a very long-standing, in fact, long before I was with MSNBC, I've had a long-standing relationship with Miracle Corners of the World. And I have to say, I need to keep everything on time, and I'm already running a little late because I just took a fantastic photograph with a great group of people you're going to hear from a little later on. It was worth every minute of that. But people ask me sometimes why in the news we don't talk about the good stuff. People ask me that less today because there's so much bad stuff that they get it. But the fact is, the good stuff is what keeps the world going, and it's the stuff that people do that doesn't make the news because it's like the oil in your engine. It just keeps the world moving, and that to me is what Miracle Corners of the World does. It keeps chugging through tough times for the organization, tough times for the world. There have been nights that I have stood here that have been so trying for all of us. And some would argue we're still going through them. I could spend several hours discussing all the things that are wrong in the world. Or you can talk about what MCW is doing, the things that are right, the places in the world they will go, the far reaches of the world that they will go, where they will change people's lives in monumental ways and in small marginal ways. And what I'm increasingly learning about the world in, 30-some years that I've been doing this, is that sometimes the marginal changes are the ones that last. They are the durable ones. They're the ones that allow you to get through the next day or week or month or year, understanding that turbulent times will pass. Wars will end. And maybe we won't start new ones, but wars will end and turbulent times will pass and we will make the changes we need in society. But it all starts with small changes, little things in communities. And the ability to understand that communities doesn't just mean your neighborhood. It should mean your neighborhood, but it means everybody around the nation with whom you share humanity and everyone around the world with whom you share humanity. And I truly, for all the things that I do and all the organizations with which I spend time, very few represent this the way that Miracle Corners of the World does. So it's my great pleasure to be with you tonight. Here's how it's going to go. It's a little different. We're starting on the same floor. A big symbol of this night is that we change floors. And we're not doing that tonight. But later on, once we're finished the formal part of the program, these screens will come up, and there's a whole lot of food waiting for you on the other side. So it's in everybody's best interest that I move through this quickly. There is a silent auction. It's underway already. You have postcards on your seat, and there's a QR code on the postcard, and you can already you can start the bidding. They always have great things, but remember, it's not the great things. It's just another way for you to support the stuff that Miracle Corners of the World does. We're going to try and end that silent auction at 9 p.m. sharp, so please feel free to get involved in that. Once again, the one constant about Miracle Corners of the World and this gala is that it is always at NYU, and it has an inseparable history with NYU. We are always so happy to be here on this campus, which is both historic and so contemporary and so important to our time. So I want to start off by introducing Professor Christy Patton, who's the counselor to the president of New York University, to remind us again why we are here tonight. Christy.
Good evening, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. My name is Christy Patton. I'm counselor to the president, Linda Mills, and professor here. And on behalf of President Mills and the entire NYU community, it's a real pleasure to welcome you back, for some of you, and for the first time I've heard in the audience to others, to our campus, and in many ways back to where this story began, as we celebrate the 26th anniversary of MCW Global and their 21st annual gala. We're especially honored to have such an extraordinary group with us this evening. I want to extend a warm welcome to your excellencies, honorable ministers, and distinguished guests, including Provost of Tuskegee University, Dr. Tierno Tam, Congressman Gregory Meeks, and Congresswoman Grace Meng, Consul General of South Africa in New York, Simon Cardy. Minister, Counselor, and Deputy Permanent Representative of Rwanda to the United Nations, Robert Kayanomora. And Namatama and Njekwa and Victor Kabwe, representing the Permanent Mission of the Republic of Zambia to the United Nations. And I'd like to take a special moment to recognize Rosemary Cohen and Renika Cohen, the mother and widow of the late NYU Dental School alumnus, Dr. Ruben Cohen. This evening, he will be honored with a posthumous Lifetime Achievement Award for his role in founding the MCW Dental Program as a student here at NYU and as someone who helped guide and support Eddie Bergman in those early days. His legacy is not just remembered, it's still very much alive in the work we're celebrating tonight. Now, looking at all of you, and there's a lot of you standing, so there are some seats, I think. You can hopefully find a seat. Leaders from business, nonprofit, academia, and the diplomatic world, it's tempting to think this evening is about scale, about reach, about impact, and it is. But it's also something much simpler, and this is the part I love. Because this entire story started with a freshman. Eddie Bergman arrived at NYU School of Professional Studies, or SPS, 26 years ago with an idea, perhaps not fully formed, perhaps not fully certain, but grounded in a belief that young people, if trusted and supported, could make a real difference in the world. Now, if you've ever met a freshman with a big idea, and I meet many of those, you might not immediately think, yes, that will become a global organization. And here we are. What began as that belief has become MCW Global. He, along with MCW's executive director, Khalid Alachi, are two examples of dedicated NYU alumni who have devoted their careers to making a profound impact on the lives of others across the globe. Both NYU and MCW believe in investing in people, in opening doors a little wider, in helping young leaders not only see what's possible, but believe, quite genuinely, that they have a role in shaping it. For more than 2 decades, the partnership between MCW and NYU has grown steadily, thoughtfully, and with real purpose. The MCW Global Young Leaders Fellowship Program, launched here at NYU, continues to equip young people around the world with the tools to lead in their own communities. And that work has extended far beyond this campus, from collaborations with NYU's Africa House to dental outreach initiatives in Tanzania through NYU's College of Dentistry, and so much more that you'll hear about tonight. And still, perhaps the most remarkable part of all of this is how it began. That something started by a freshman, an idea, a belief, a sense of possibility, didn't just stay an idea. It grew, it endured, and it continues year after year to change lives across the world. So tonight we celebrate that beginning, we celebrate the people who carried it forward, and we celebrate the next generation who will take it even farther. Thank you for being here and for being part of this rather extraordinary story.
Warning to anybody coming up on the stage, just watch your head. That thing's awful close. I'm not the tallest guy around. Thank you for that, Professor. Is it really 21 years this has been going on for? I feel like I've been here for most of those years. I didn't realize it was that long. That's amazing. One of the faces that I remember from literally every time I've been here is Dr. Jan Nyarko. He's a professor of economics at New York University. He's the founding director of NYU's Africa House. And I'd like to invite him up here to get us kicked off tonight. Dr. Nyarko. There you are. Oh, you're right next to me.
Okay. Thanks so much, Ali. I love having him around. We have the same haircut, okay? It really looks really smart on you. Welcome everybody to NYU. I'm a professor of economics and, as was just said, director of NYU's Africa House. Just to follow up on Christy's remarks, I remember as a professor, Dave Finney was the dean of the School for Professional Studies, and he calls me up. And he says, there's this wonder kid, you gotta meet him, okay? And so we had a meeting, and I think it was 20-something plus years ago. And I have to say, it's one of the best experiences I, as a professor, has ever had with a student. There are very few students who, after a quarter of a century, I'm still in touch with, working with. So Eddie, really great job. I've been with MCW for many, many years. And Eddie, I don't know why, but every year it seems even better than the year before. So congratulations to you, okay? Let me take this opportunity also to thank the Bergman family. I came to NYU more than 20 years ago, and I still remember when I first came here, it was the Bergman family who took me around to see Africa and Africa things here in New York City. I remember some events with doctors, African-American doctors you sent me to. And as I like to remind Stan, we've become so close that I've actually gone to visit his family in South Africa. Now, that takes guts for somebody to send you to their family back home, right? But he did that, and it was really, really great. The Bergman family have been helping us over the years with Africa House, with various fellowships. We brought in here the president of Tanzania, and so Henry Schein and Stan have been very, very big in Tanzania. So all of these things have been really great. And again, Eddie in particular, he serves on the Africa House board. We go out for coffees every now and then. It's not one of these boards where you meet twice a year. He will actually call me, hey, I got this great idea. Let's go get coffee. And so we get coffee, and then we do stuff. One of the great ideas, of course, was meeting with the HBCUs. For many of us in Africa, in the United States, the HBCUs are a very important part of the United States, of the world. The independence movement of Africa, a lot of it took place on the campuses of the HBCUs. I'm doing some work on art right now, so the Harlem Renaissance, Alain Locke. It's just very, very big. It's a very special thing. The HBCUs educate, I think, a quarter of all African Americans in the United States, even though they're only 3% of the universities, okay? And so it's something which it's a great asset we should all cherish. And tomorrow, we're going to be having a meeting with the HBCUs. The provost of Tuskegee is here, and other dignitaries from the HBCUs will also be joining us. I think there's some students around, HBCU students. Make some noise, folks. Make some noise. All right. Thank you. So that's taking place tomorrow morning. Hope to see as many of you as can be. Africa House is an interdisciplinary institution. We host events somewhat similar to these. We bring in presidents, intellectuals, and we also support great organizations we partner with, like MCW. So on that note, the co-founder of MCW, president of the MCW Board of Directors, serving on the President's Global Council, advisory boards, including Africa House, SPS now, board, TIS Center for Hospitality, Gallatin School. Eddie and his family have supported students. And every now and then, these grants that are given to the students, a student will go to Africa, go and do some research, and they'll come back and just say, Professor, this has changed my life. I was going to go this way. I did the research. I traveled. I saw different things. Now I'm going that way. Okay? So a big round of applause for Eddie Bergman, who has done so many great, wonderful things. Thank you, Eddie.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Yao. And Christy and Ali. I'm just very excited to be here. There are 2 rows of seats in the front, so for whoever's standing in the back, I know some of the students and other guests, please don't be shy. There are 2 rows up front. So good evening to all of our friends and supporters, and thank you so much. Once again, I'm not going to go do the introductions just in the interest of time, because I know that I think there's a saying that says, my dad usually says, it's all protocol observed. So we'll say that. But I do want to thank Ali for being with us, I guess, nearly almost every year for 2 decades with this program. And whenever Ali is not, when Ali's not with us here, he's always sending a video, and he's with us in spirit. And thank you, Ali, for being with us, and also spending time on the ground, actually visiting the programs of MCW. I did want to add to the welcome. I know that we thanked representatives from South Africa, from Zambia, Rwanda, and Tanzania. Also, I just want to recognize our good friend Denise Pease, who's with us tonight, the former regional administrator in General Services Administration. Denise, I don't know where Denise is. Oh, there's Denise. Denise has many of her friends here tonight and guests, and we've collaborated over the years, and Denise always brings amazing people to connect, and those connections lead to some really amazing work. So thank you, and Denise, and thank you for your inspiration. Also, thank you to Shared Interest, the organization that's collaborated with MCW on the HBCU program that we're going to be having tomorrow, and particularly the executive director, Ann McMichael, who's here. And maybe you can just stand and just, everyone knows, if you have any, to learn more about Shared Interest and the very important work Shared Interest does. We are very excited about the HBCU Social Impact Leaders Program and being a partner with this initiative. And in particular, we have a committee on our board that works with the Young Leaders Program, chaired by Dr. Charlie Robbins, who's the former vice provost at Stony Brook, and I know that will be sort of helping to facilitate on the MCW side tomorrow's program, and we're just very excited to collaborate. I'm also pleased to announce that 3 of the students here tonight that have come from, which I guess you'll hear from the provost shortly about their program, but 3 of the students here are going to be joining MCW this summer at our Young Leaders Program, and we're pleased to announce tonight that Nairi Crowell, Wansur Mangu, and Haley Fox will be joining us. So we look forward to having you part of the MCW leadership program, which you'll hear about later. Tonight is very meaningful with our honorees. Every year it's a little bit different, but tonight has a very, very, I guess, dear meaning, and it's one of the reasons I'm a little bit stuttering, I guess you can say, because it's a little surreal to some degree, at least for one of our honorees. But I just want to first thank and recognize, and you'll hear from our honorees, Dr. Lois Cohen, who has been a dear mentor and friend and colleague of Marion Bergman and Stan Bergman, and in the oral health program. My very, very dear friend, Coach Butch Hines, who has many friends here tonight. You're gonna hear from Coach Butch, and I think if you're not inspired, then I don't think anything would inspire you, quite frankly, because this is the most inspirational guy, 13 days younger than my dad, and we're out there every week on Fridays playing tennis, and then on the way home talking about how we're gonna help the Young Leaders Program, develop a tennis program in Zambia. And we've been doing this for a couple years now, and this is such a special friendship. And then, of course, we're honoring someone who I know is watching and is with us somewhere in this room tonight, but I know that he is humbled to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award. And if he was with us, I think he would just be, so I don't know. He was my best friend, so the late Dr. Ruben Cohen, and we're going to hear all about Ruben. And Ruben has so many friends in the room tonight, and see Adam and Wayne is going to come up and present. And when we started the MCW dental program, I was a freshman at NYU, and Ruben was my RA. And he just came back from an NYU dental outreach trip, which Henry Schein was involved in and continues to support at NYU Dental School. And he just came back from, I think it was in the Caribbean, and he said, Eddie, you're working in Tanzania, you have this school in Tanzania. I was showing him the pictures. He says, why don't we get a group together to bring the dental outreach program to Tanzania? So I was a freshman, but I was studying travel and tourism, so I put together a tour, and we had only one problem, is that for students to practice dentistry, they need a dentist who has the license. And Ruben immediately brought his professor, the distinguished professor who's now retired from NYU, but our board member emeritus, Dr. Vernillo, who is here tonight, and we're just so excited to see you, Dr. Vernillo. So, Dr. Vernillo, truly, it's great to have you with us and back at NYU. So anyway, so these, I had a lot I want to say about Ruben, but I'm going to leave it there, and you'll hear more. But Veronica and Rosemary, I can't tell you how much it means that you were excited about doing this tonight, quite frankly. So it was an idea, and it kind of just popped in, and very excited. So anyway, in 1999, Rob Alsbrooks and I started and co-founded MCW. 26 years later, it's amazing to be here, and I want to also recognize the MCW Board of Directors. We're a small board, but we're very active as a board, including myself, and I just want to ask that the board members in the room just stand. Paul Bergman, Anna Kondulis, who is formerly with NYU and has been on the boards for 26 years, Mark Kemper with UPS, Rich Miranda, who's making sure that our spending is in line with reality, and with Rich, we really appreciate everything you do. And Kabinga Pandey, who just this year was on the board, has taken on the position of vice president. So Kabinga and I are essentially working very closely at the board level. And Dr. Charlie Robbins. So thank you to this amazing board, and your deep commitment and guidance have been a key part of our growth over the year. The Gala co-chairs, we really thank you for being part of this event. This event happens because we invite friends of the organization, people that have been involved, and they serve as co-chairs and then reach out to their networks. And many co-chairs have actively been involved in traveling with MCW or programs, or some just love this event every year and are very supportive of the work we're doing. So over the 26 years, MCW has raised over $16 million with this event, and it's that. And so, thank you, co-chairs. And then I just want to recognize, of course, everyone who's come tonight, anyone who's given a dollar to support the efforts of MCW. Every contribution is important. And of course, I just want to recognize those who have been major contributors this year to the program and who have continued to support every year, which really, this program basically is the major event for MCW, and all the work MCW does is because of this event, essentially, financially. So thank you to Richard and Carol Maggot. I know I think they're here tonight, but there's Richard, and with Soundboard Venture Fund and Soundboard Foundation, and many of Richard's friends and supporters are here tonight. We're MCW and the Soundboard Foundation collaborate on the Young Leadership Program and do some really cool things. And if you get a chance to talk to Richard, he'll tell you more about that. Jerry Benjamin and the Benjamin family. I know that you don't like to be recognized, but you are. I mean, I guess the word amazing is an understatement. So thank you to the Benjamin family for every year being a leader in this event. Of course, Jimmy and Debbie Brzezlowski, thank you, and Michael and Joyce Ettinger, the NYU School of Professional Studies for hosting us, Proskauer Rose, the Spencer Family Foundation, the UPS Foundation, and of course, Henry Schein and Team Schein, who I know is represented tonight. And we're very, very honored to also have with us Fred tonight, and I'm personally very, very grateful that you've taken an interest in this work, and I think it's just great to see everyone back tonight in Team Shine. And finally, to thank the MCW staff, Khalid Alachi. Khalid, you can please stand. I know he's going to be coming up shortly. He's the executive director. Supported by Regina, and Regina's here, Regina Leichner, who's you'll meet at the front. And then, of course, the colleagues that are internationally, Dorada, Greece, Maria, and Sharon. Tonight's event is in large part due to your passion and commitment. And want to also thank someone who has been key to MCW Galas for 21 years as our and has been so passionate about MCW and passionate about this work, and last year actually was the co-recipient of one of our awards, Howie Stapler, who I know some people get a call this time of year from Howie, and they know why he's calling. So thank you, Howie, for doing that. And then volunteering tonight, Teresa, Lorena, Lori, Angela, Angel, for their time, and of course, once again, to the Henry Schein Team Shine. There's a video. The Shine Creative has always very generously helped to create a video for MCW each year, and we really appreciate that and the team there. So, and then of course Stan and Marion Berkman, my parents, and my mom, who is one of the who's our volunteer healthcare director for MCW's programs and has committed so much time to MCW, and in fact has traveled more to Africa in the last 10 years than I have, significantly more. So thank you, Mom, and my dad, who we all know, and my dad, who's an amazing dad and grandfather, and my mom says husband, so. She still says that after 53 years. 4, okay. Well, yeah, it takes the accountant to remember. And then my in-laws, because I just can't not thank them. Javid and Seema. If you see Javid, he'll give you a hug. And then Sharon, my wife, who I met through NYU and through MCW. And I think, Khalid, you were very helpful with the first interview, so thank you. A huge thank you to Khalid, who, children, one day you'll understand and know that MCW played a very important part in bringing you to this earth. And my 3 wonderful children, Nina, Nora, and Elliot. And I have to say, Nina, you're going to hear from Nina today because Nina is the coach's partner in the tennis program, but Nina's also leading tonight's 50-50 raffle. So if anyone wants to be involved in the 50-50, Nina's there. So thank you. And thank you, Ali. Thank you. The problem when you thank so many people, you probably forgot.
Khalid, you want to kick us off with a video? Eddie mentioned Khalid a few times. Khalid is central and instrumental to this organization, and he's going to show you some of the great work. We've been talking about and around MCW a little bit. Now we're going to show you exactly what MCW does. Khalid Elachi.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thanks, Eddie, for welcoming everyone. I wanted to thank the board, donors, and guests who are joining us tonight. It's really great to see everyone and have a room filled with people who are passionate about the work that we do. I consider myself particularly lucky in my work because I have the opportunity to meet so many incredible young leaders throughout our program. With each year, each cohort, we meet dynamic young people from all over the world. They have the passion and the drive to create change. With a big support, they are able to accomplish incredible feats. The support of those in the room and many beyond this room have changed the course of many people's lives and improved communities around the world in big ways. I remain deeply grateful for the partnerships of our supporters and our committed high stewardship of the organization. Before we go into the video, I want to take a moment to recognize that while I'm here on stage, I'm not the only one I'm not the only person working incredibly hard with this organization. Regina, Dorata, Grace, Maria, and Sharon are all critical team members without whom the work would not be possible. I'm proud to be amongst those team members who show up every day dedicated to the work of MCW Global. As you take a moment to watch the following video, I'd like to invite you all to consider joining us in the coming year at any of our programs. We welcome you to join us this summer at our fellowship program. Please enjoy the short video.
Since 1999, MCW Global has believed in one powerful idea, that when we invest in young leaders, we change communities. For over 25 years, we've worked across the globe, from New York to Rwanda, from Tanzania to Zambia, empowering people to build brighter, safer futures. Everything we do starts with leadership. Through our Young Leaders program, we have trained over 1,100 young people from more than 65 countries, equipping them with the skills, vision, and a global community to take on the world's most pressing challenges. Through our fellowship, participants go through 3 phases: a community needs assessment and in-person training in New York, and a year-long virtual implementation journey with alumni mentors. And through our Alumni Ventures Fund, we have invested over $95,000 in grants to more than 40 alumni scaling solutions in their own communities. One leader, one community, multiplied across the globe. For the 2026 Fellowship Program, we received more than 4,300 applications with 35 leaders selected from 34 countries. We are also excited to welcome a cohort from the Shared Interest HBCU Social Impact Leaders Program. Across Rwanda, Tanzania, and Zambia, our Africa affiliates are putting leadership into action every day. In Rwanda, young people, including teen mothers and youth with disabilities, are earning certified vocational skills and launching businesses. 55% of alumni have started their own. In Zambia, we are reaching out-of-school children with literacy programs and life skills, touching more than 800 lives in a single year. Our oral healthcare journey began in 2001 when the late Dr. Ruben Cohen connected MCW to the late Dr. Michael Alfano, then Dean and Professor Dr. Anthony Vernillo of NYU School of Dentistry. Today, in Tanzania, our dental therapists outreach training has reached over 450,000 community members with oral health services since 2021.
Hello everyone, this is Jayant Kumar, a dental researcher and a community advocate from Tharparkar in Pakistan. I was also a part of Student Leadership in Global Oral Health, Class of 2025 by the Alliance of Oral Health Across Borders. Coming from a remote region of Tharparkar, where access to oral health care is limited, this inspired me to work for the underprivileged communities. I sincerely want to thank my mentors, especially Marion Bregman, for her constant support, be it through emails or her constant encouragement throughout my research project. Her guidance and support strengthened my research project, my presentation, and it ultimately helped me secure that second position.
Thanks to the generous support of the Spencer Family Foundation and DCI, 15 brand new dental chairs are on their way to Bugando Medical Center in Mwanza, Tanzania, with the help of Everlast Logistics. Located in northwestern Tanzania, the Bugando Medical Center is a critical medical facility for nearly 1/3 of all Tanzanians, serving more than 22 million people. 3 countries, thousands of lives, one shared commitment to community-led change. Under PTR certified Coach Butch Hines' visionary leadership and additional support from the PTR Foundation, more than 170 children enrolled in the literacy and numeracy programs actively participate in twice-weekly tennis training sessions utilizing a brand new fenced-in tennis court. More than 80 children received new tennis shoes and socks, helping build their confidence in tennis skills. The tennis program plays a part in encouraging children to engage in both physical and educational activities. None of this happens alone. MCW Global is a network of dedicated donors, alumni, board members, partners, volunteers, and friends who show up year after year because they believe communities have the power to transform themselves. They just need the support to lead. This is MCW Global. For more than 25 years, we have advanced education, health, and economic security, powered by leadership. Our impact is growing, and tonight we invite you to join us in strengthening our efforts to support youth-led change worldwide.
You're going to hear over the course of the next few minutes some really inspirational stories, and I've got my own. It was years ago, maybe it was 15 years ago, when I spoke to Eddie about going to Rwanda, and he introduced me to the folks at MCW, and I got to see the inspiring work that they were doing on the ground. I will say my main takeaway from that video, though, is that thing I haven't seen since I was a little kid in school where they teach you how to brush your teeth. I brushed my teeth properly for like a week after that. And I don't think I've done that since. So I think we just need to reintroduce that. Maybe next year at MCW you could do one of those demos. That was very helpful for a week. I want to, as Eddie said, these events are all different, but this one is unique. There's something about tonight that's is going to be very moving. I want to call upon Dr. Wayne Kai to present the 2026 Lifetime Achievement Award to the late Dr. Ruben Cohen's family.
Good evening, everyone. What a beautiful day it is, like Ali said. Ruben always knew how to bring out the sun and joy in everything he did, really, and that's why we're here. But I will say, just start off with a little short anecdote. Between Katie and Eddie's speech and this video, I mean, I have nothing else to say. That's my whole speech there. But I'm going to try my best to give honor and tribute to our dear friend, Ruben Cohen. We've all heard sayings, quote, "The world is a small place," end quote, or that any two people are connected by no more than 6 degrees of separation, right? We've heard those things. The story of how MCW CEO Eddie Bergman and Dr. Ruben Cohen first crossed paths is quintessentially New York. It's a testament to just how true those sayings can be. Eddie, again, we've heard, was an undergraduate, first-year student at NYU, and Ruben was his resident advisor. I also, too, as a sort of a proud moment, will say that I bleed violet. I'm a proud alumnus of the CAS, College of Arts and Science here, and the College of Dentistry. So we all bleed violet, so thank you to NYU for being able to host this wonderful event. But with Eddie and Ruben, one connection led to another. One conversation led to another thing. And what began as a chance encounter evolved into a shared commitment to service. Through their mutual passion for helping others and their overlapping paths in dentistry, they helped lay the foundation for MCW's early dental outreach efforts in Tanzania, as we all saw. Now, at the same time, Ruben and I were both dental students, kind of trudging along, trying to get through dental school, doing some stuff, and I see some of Ruben's dear friends here. And we were both active in leadership within the American Student Dental Association. Now, Ruben, as you all know, with his characteristic initiative and endless charm and enthusiasm, introduced Eddie to the dean of NYU College of Dentistry, the late Dr. Michael Alfano, as the video said. Well, as the vision for the outreach took shape, a faculty leader was indeed needed. And without hesitation, well, hold on. Yeah, a little arm twisting from Ruben. Dr. Anthony Vanilla was sort of recruited, and he was then a tenured professor in the Department of Oral and Maxillofacial Pathology, and he stepped forward to lead the effort. And that was about, quarter century ago. That program, lasting about 2 weeks, provided free dental care to more than 200 patients in Tanzania. But more importantly, it embodied Ruben's enduring belief in service, connection, and global social impact. I think those are the 3 words we're going to hear throughout this an evening and throughout the many years to come. Now, Ruben and I were also both fortunate to have been taught by the Dr. Vanillo, who joins us here this evening from Virginia. Thank you, Dr. Vanilla, for joining. Thank you, Chris. And through Ruben, my wife, Grace, and I came to know Eddie and his wonderful family. Over the years, our lives became intertwined. Right? We've shared laughter. We've had meaningful conversations at seders and other events, and at times, difficult moments and tears. Ruben's untimely passing in the summer of 2021 was a profound loss. Nearly 5 years later, it still feels like yesterday that we were celebrating milestones together, spending time with our families. His absence is deeply felt, and he is dearly missed. And yet, his legacy continues in the lives he touched, the work he inspired, and this community that he helped build. Now, I know, as Eddie eloquently said, that he is smiling down, joking around, jabbing you, making jokes, but saying, why am I getting the Lifetime Achievement Award? This has got to be a joke. But it's no joke, buddy. You deserve it. It's no joke. He would be elated to see us here celebrating his life and contributions to making this world a much better place. At this time, I would like to invite Eddie and Dr. Vanillo to the stage to jointly present the MCW Lifetime Achievement Award posthumously to Ruben's mother, Rosemary, and his wife, Veronica. Please come up. plain and so, but just so elegant, so beautiful. It says MCW Global Lifetime Achievement to Dr. Ruben Cohen, dated April 13th, 2026.
Okay, so I'm going to cry as much as Eddie. So one thing, I just want to say that there's no award that would mean more to Ruben in no organization for which he was more passionate. When I met Ruben, God, a long time ago, I was lucky enough to get two families, the Cohens and the Bergmans. And to the Bergmans, thank you for making him the man he became, for letting him do the work that defined him, for making him the man that I loved and the father that he was. Thank you to all of you in the room who loved him, from even before I knew him, for welcoming me and including me. On behalf of my mother-in-law, my in-laws, my family, Leah, Ellie, Coco, and myself, we thank you and we love you, and we know there's nothing that makes him more proud. Thank you.
Veronica, before you. In addition, it is my distinct honor to present a special tribute on behalf of my wife, United States Congresswoman Grace Meng. I think she's been on the show without. She says hello. Who represents New York's 6th District in Queens. Now, while she regrets that she could not be here this evening with all of you, she asked that I present this American flag that was flown over the United States Capitol in honor and remembrance of our dear friend, Dr. Ruben Cohen.
Thank you. We love you and your family more than I can say. Thank you. And thank you all. Thank you.
You heard references to the Bergman family, and anybody who's been attending this event for all these years knows the remarkable connection between the Bergman family and MCW. Not just that these are Eddie's brothers, his brother and his parents. It's more than that. I came to, in fact, I knew Stan Bergman before I knew Eddie Bergman, believe it or not. Stan and I go back a long way. He's been a real mentor to me for all those years ago when I was a business journalist. He would teach me. I would think I'd be interviewing him, as we journalists always think we're smarter than everybody else, and I would end up just learning more and more each time, not just about the business, but about business, about the world, about dentistry, about medical care. And it's been a remarkable friendship over all of these years. So I want to invite my old friend, Stanley Bergman. He's the chairman of the board of directors of Henry Schein, and Dr. Marion Bergman, who also taught me about a whole lot of other things that I didn't know about, and is a remarkable force. Dr. Marion Bergman is the healthcare project director of MCW, to present the 2026 Spirit of MCW Award to Dr. Lois Cohen.
Good evening, everyone. As the MCW Health Projects Director, I'm privileged to introduce my dear friend and mentor, Dr. Lois Cohen, as the recipient of this year's MCW Lifetime Achievement Award. Since my involvement with MCW as its first Health Projects Director, Lois has been my guiding star and mentor. My background has largely been the practice of clinical pulmonary medicine and critical care until retirement, upon which, at my family's encouragement, I embarked upon a master's degree in health policy and management at NYU's Wagner School of Public Policy. Around that time, Eddie had already co-founded and began working on what became known as MCW Global. I subsequently took on the role of Health Projects Director of MCW Global, and working first with Eddie and later Khalid and subsequently Regina, we evolved into MCW Global, which you see today. Lois Cohen played a huge part in influencing the direction we took. We would never have been here without her guidance. Given Lois's prior role in global oral health research, and from her perspective as a sociologist, I could not have been more fortunate to have had her as a mentor to the MCW team and a friend who happily assisted me in my role as Health Projects Director of MCW. The MCW leadership team can think of no one more appropriate than Lois to be awarded the 2026 Spirit of MCW Award. Without further ado, I call upon my dear friend and mentor, Dr. Lois Cohen, to come up to the podium to accept her award.
Thank you so much, Marion and Stan. I really am grateful to Miracle Corners of the World, as this award really symbolizes to me a collaborative effort with a civil society organization, a non-governmental organization. After all, I worked for the U.S. government for a long time, over 60 years now. But many things cannot be done if you're not part of a village, part of a team. Merging the public and the private sector together, as Stan likes to talk about, socially responsible public-private partnerships. That's what this was about for me. But I have to say something about Marion, because she was the one who had the foresight and the insight that enabled political decisions to be made, not only for the African continent, but for global health generally. It was her connection, I don't know if many of you know, to the president of Tanzania, Kikwete, which jump-started the organization of a side event at New York University here during the United Nations General Assembly's high-level meeting on the prevention and control of non-communicable diseases. That occurred in September 2011, and Ali Velshi, you moderated that side event for us. But it was Marion who invited me to work with her and President Kikwete's ambassador to the United Nations to organize this side event, which was entitled Putting Teeth into the Non-Communicable Diseases. It eventually mobilized votes in the General Assembly, and oral health was included in Section 19 of that proclamation. But that wasn't the end of the story. The 2011 Miracle Corners of the World initiative led to a momentum of events, subsequent side events here at NYU, to the General Assembly's various ones. And in 2019, the General Assembly of the UN discussed universal health care coverage. And again, oral health was included in that declaration in 2019. Recognizing the importance, of course, of major oral diseases and conditions, probably the most prolific of all diseases in the world when you look at the global burden of disease. The World Health Assembly, the health arm of the United Nations, adopted in May 2021 a resolution to include oral health and embed it in their initiatives on non-communicable diseases as well as universal health care coverage. And that led to a number of actual new documents. The Global Oral Health Status Report, a Global Oral Health Strategic Plan, which is in effect now, 2023 to 2030. The implementation of the Minamata Convention on Mercury, which is in effect now with the United Nations Environmental Program. The inclusion of oral health best buys that happened in 2024. The inclusion of NOMA in the classification of neglected tropical diseases, again in 2024. A global oral health summit, the first of its kind in Bangkok in 2024. And just this year, earlier this year, the WHO African region based in Brazzaville had their regional convocation, and they issued a proclamation of all the African nations in the WHO region to elevate global oral health. So all of these steps, this momentum that was created by miracle corners of the world, this is what happens. It takes a village for momentum to occur, to mobilize the political actors. It is civil society's public voice that puts pressure on the political actors to make all of this happen. So I'm very grateful personally, but the whole community, the global oral health community, is very grateful to Miracle Corners of the World, to the Bergmans, the whole family, Eddie, to all that you do, to late Ruben Cohen, to Allie, to all, the whole team, Khalid, Regina, Khalid. Thank you for all your support and for making the public voice happen. The collaborative energy is palpable. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
So, Lois, thank you for the role you played in educating the MCW team on public policy as it relates to oral care. When Steve Kess was sitting over there, Steve, please stand up. And Dr. Mike Alfano at NYU, working with Ruben, conceived this whole notion of, and Dr. Vanilla over here, of advancing oral care in Africa. Just through a set of circumstances, we were at the NASDAQ opening of the bell one time. President Kikwete, who had just become president, wanted to meet the business community. So we were there at the NASDAQ, and he turned to me and he said, I heard you're in the dental business. I said, yes. He said, well, my daughter is a dental student in Tanzania, and she tells me that the dental school is in disrepair. So Marion walked by. I said, President Kikwete, it's my wife, Marion. Please meet her. She's a medical doctor, and she'll get the dental school up to speed. And that led to a lot of people in this room and others donating equipment, etc. Marion was horrified, but she knew nothing about dental care. And that's where Steve introduced you to the equation, and the net result is today the dental school in Dar es Salaam, the Milabini Dental School, is one of the top 3 dental schools in Africa. There's 2 in South Africa, and then there's the one in Tanzania. And you coached Marion and the dental team here, the healthcare team, through this process. So thank you very much. Fast forward, and Eddie's watching me, because he knows that when I get the mic, I don't turn it down too quickly. But fast forward, President Kikwete's physician, who very much pushed the dental initiative in Tanzania, is today the head of the World Health Organization for Africa. And that all started through this whole connection between oral care and Tanzania, and to some extent MCW. So thanks for being the coach. Thanks. I promised Eddie I wouldn't be long, but Tony, you're here. You've had the guts to take these kids to Africa, and it started a whole initiative advancing oral care throughout Africa. Ruben, you know, when I look at you, and I think of the time that you and Ruben, you were the head of the dental students, was statutes of limitations have expanded. Michael Ettinger couldn't be here, he apologized, but there are enough lawyers in the room, so Jennifer, make this client privilege. But NYU wouldn't allow the dental school to take people, but ASDA came through and volunteered. That's the American Student Dental Association, and the first group went to, it was the students, and you were, I think, the president at the time. Thank you for making it happen, and of course, I know MCW is a 501c3, but I have to tell you, your wife is a great congressperson, and when she addressed the Congress after some of the challenges we had in the US, it was a remarkable address. And so thank you, of course. And to where is Ronica? Ronica and Rosemary, thank you. You gave Ruben a gift to the world, to oral care, and there is, as we all know, a direct correlation between good oral care and good health. It's an NCD that is not fully recognized yet, but I think through the work that was kicked off by Wayne, by Ruben, Dean Alfano, Tony, and then, of course, as expanded by Lois, a huge amount happened. I don't want to talk too much, but Eddie, I know you're getting, yeah, but the coach, not dental. Oh, the coach is coming. But a lot of this got advanced through a gentleman by the name of Dr. Edward B. Shills, who was the founder of the first entrepreneurial center at any academic center, and he was the executive director of the Dental Manufacturers of America. And he was the proponent of advancing oral care as a way of dealing with the non-communicable diseases. The non-communicable diseases are 2/3 of the cost of healthcare in general throughout the world. 3 billion people have cavities in one way or another. And so Dr. Scholes introduced Eddie to the then deputy provost at NYU, who introduced Eddie to a number of other people here, including the dean of the SCPS, and Anna played. Where's Anna? I saw you. Anna. She's here. Anna. And you took this kid under your wings, introduced Dean Finney, and the whole NYU machinery got going behind this project, MCW, oral care, etc. And it's just been a remarkable journey. Yeah, I better stop. So, thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. I see my partners in this journey, Jimmy and Jerry and Mark I saw earlier on. You've all been major supporters of this work. So thank you. So, Eddie plays tennis with the coach. You'll hear about him in a minute. And the coach comes from New York City. In New York, if you grow up in New York City, you don't know too much about Zambia. I mean, you know it's a country. So Eddie would play tennis with the coach, and Eddie would tell the coach about the kids in Africa who have a significant disadvantage. So the coach said, I'm going to mobilize the U.S. Tennis Association to advance tennis in Africa. And you may say, there's so many other causes in Africa, why tennis? Well, tennis provides dignity to people, and he then decided to go to Africa and advance tennis in Zambia with the support of the Tennis Association of America. So he came back from Zambia, and it was the end of our breaking the fast of Yom Kippur, and he came to our house. And he was talking to everyone. Ali, I'm sure, was there. And there were tears in his eyes, talking about the poverty of these children in Africa and how tennis had brought them into an environment of hope. And while he was talking, Nina was sitting there, and she said, this was 3 years ago, so she was about 6, she said, I'm going to help you, coach. And she went to her school and started raising money for the tennis program in Zambia, which the coach has now made a significant program, and you'll hear more about that later. So I could go on for hours. Everyone in this room, in one way or another, has been connected. And Miracle Corners is, what is the motto about the world? Local change through global exchange. And that's what this is all about. People here, in one way or another, have helped advance challenges in the world for disadvantaged people, whether it's in Africa or it's right here in the United States. And you'll hear from the provost from Tuskegee, I always get that wrong, Tuskegee in a minute. So now I think everybody in this room knows that Henry Schein has been a company that has built our business around the notion of social responsibility, doing well by doing good. And it's worked. It's worked on so many fronts, particularly in brand building, because there's a business, after all, in connecting Henry Schein to our customers, to our team, to our suppliers, and thank you to the suppliers that are here, to the investors. We have socially responsible investors. So it became time for me to retire. And so the board of Henry Schein, is a public company, conducted a search for a new CEO. And there are certain specifications that are required in a public company of this scale. And Congressman. And the committee went out and looked for a successor. I knew that the committee, the succession committee at Henry Schein, would find an outstanding technical business leader. But in my wildest imagination, I did not think that that business leader would share the values of Henry Schein, the notion of doing well by doing good, enlightened self-interest, as Benjamin Franklin called it. And we were extremely fortunate to find a great business leader, and you can read about Fred Lowry in the press. Certainly you can see his interviews on the internet. But his values matched the values of Henry Schein. And with that, yeah, the company's in great shape. It's a great business. We are global. We certainly service healthcare, which was all great. But to think that we found somebody to lead Henry Schein that shares the values was just a dream come true for me and for the team. So Fred Lowry has become the CEO as of March 2nd. He's going to do an incredible job. He's got the support of the team. I believe he's got the full support of the investors, of the board, of the suppliers, of the industry, etc. And to think that he is going to now lead Henry Schein with the values that have been so important going back 90 plus years is just incredible. So, Fred, thank you for being here. We're going to do a great job in running the business, but thank you for aligning and taking the business in a direction that will make a difference to access to care, to social responsibility, and the whole education of people in this country and abroad on the importance of oral care, prevention, and wellness. But I know, Ali, I don't know about the program, but we have one of the leaders of our Congress who just walked in, the Honorable Congressman Meeks. And again, we're a 501c3, we can't pick parties or anything, but, well, from my point of view, he cares about Africa. And there are very, very few people in Congress that care about Africa because people just don't know it. If you read the New York Times, you think every country in Africa is at war. Africa is a continent that is rapidly growing economically. It's the fastest economically growing continent. The youth of Africa are incredibly talented, and Congressman Meeks has made that very, very important in his endeavors in the Congress, in his leadership, to bring Africa to the attention of our elected officials. Of course, he does a lot of good work in a number of other areas, policy, etc. But Congressman Meeks, thank you for being here. You really do us a great honor. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, I know Fred, but is the Congressman going to speak, or? I'm sorry. Congressman. Amazing.
Thank you, Stanley, and I am honored to be here for the work that all of you will do, but for the Bergman family. And let me just tell you real quick, and one of the inspirations for me to make sure that I was here, even though running around and doing other things, is my wife, Simone Marie Meeks, who is in healthcare and understands the significance of healthcare around the globe. And I want to make sure that y'all know that she is part of what pushes me, because when I go to bed at night, she always are asking questions about who have you helped and where can you make a difference. And for me, when I think about the continent of Africa, and when I was the chair of the committee, and this is a 501c3, but you can't say this, when I am the chair of again, Africa will be on the front burner. We can never have Africa on the back burner. It has to be that Africa is not just on an Africa subcommittee, on the Foreign Affairs Committee. It needs to be on the full committee so that everyone gets the full attention. You know, a subcommittee, we can do certain things, but that then moves to the front of the table so that we can make sure, as Stanley said, Africa is the youngest, fastest growing, with all of the minerals and wealth and opportunities that is on the planet. And we have got to make sure that we're moving in that direction. Otherwise, we're going to miss the boat. And that's what's significant and important for those of us here in the United States, to make sure that we're defending and getting allies all over the continent and working together. Because this place, and I'll close on this because we did not intend on saying anything, but the planet now is smaller now than it has ever been. And we're more interconnected than we ever have been. And what takes place on one side of the globe affects the other side of the globe. And so if we are not focused now on health care for all, it's going to come back and reverberate on us no matter where we are. So this is a mission on being balanced and working for humankind, man and womankind, because collectively together we will all rise to the top. If not, if we allow someone to be forgotten or divided, then the planet is in danger. And that's what this is all about. So thank all of you for being here and contributing and working and dedicated. I thank the Bergman family for always, anytime when we first met, Africa has always come up first, talking about what can we do and how can the Congress be helpful. And so I say to you, Stanley, and I see you've got a new person taking over or dealing. So I say to all of you, whatever I can do, and however the United States Congress can be helpful, I will tell you that the Foreign Affairs Committee, and I know my colleague, because I see one of my colleagues' husband is here, and Grace Meng, who is on the Appropriations Committee. So we planned this thing. One is on the Foreign Affairs Committee, but then I know where to go to get the money that we need on the Appropriations Committee. We make that happen, and we will then make sure that we're bringing home and sharing and make sure the wealth, the grace, the strength, the brilliance of the people on the continent of Africa has the opportunity to shine as the people of anywhere else on the planet. So those days of handicap, forgetting about it, stereotyping the continent, those days are over. This is the place to do business. Africa is the place to do business. Let's trade and work together. Let's make sure we have a healthy continent and a healthy planet, and the Bergmans do just that. Thank you all. God bless you.
So you can read about, I have notes on Fred, but you can read about him on the internet. It gives me great honor to introduce Fred Lowry to Miracle Corners of the World, and I would think actually to many in the dental community who haven't met him yet, and to the medical community. So, Fred, thank you for being here. Thanks for accepting the job. Thank you above all for being committed to social responsibility. Thank you.
Well, good evening. I was really excited to follow Stan, and then the congressman walked in. Good evening, Congressman. Nice to see you. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me, Eddie and all. It's not lost on me that I'm here as the new CEO, and it's week 6, so it's still early days, but represent an organization that has a really long-standing commitment to purpose and partnership in communities like the communities that MCW supports. And I really am incredibly grateful to Stan. It's been just a great experience getting to know you. but not just you, but Marianne and Eddie and Paul and the entire Bergman family and all the Team Shine members have been more than gracious with their welcome to me in joining this organization. You guys have built an amazing foundation, and I'm excited to be a part of helping move that to the next level. But that foundation of values and relationships and beliefs in doing well by doing good. It's really what makes Henry Schein a great company. It's why I'm here. And it's what makes evenings like this possible. I also want to take a moment and just recognize all the folks who are working with MCW and the important work that you lead. Eddie, thank you for taking time and helping to bring me up to speed on what all the great work that you guys are doing. And it's not just about the mission, though. It's really about the consistency of effort behind it and the commitment to expand access and supporting education and strengthening communities over time. That's the kind of impact that doesn't really happen overnight. It takes partnership, persistence, and people who are willing to invest in something that's bigger than themselves. You know, and I don't know all of you yet, but all of you are not out front doing this work. There's a lot of people behind the scenes doing this work. And without you, this type of work will not get done. You've made a huge difference through your work at MCW. Now, the work that MCW is doing is really closely connected to something else that I'm deeply passionate about, and that's historically black colleges and universities. You know, for me, that connection is quite personal. I grew up in the shadow of a HBCU. I spent my summers on a HBCU campus where my uncle was a professor and his wife, my aunt, was an administrator. And boy, we had a great time there, if I must say. And then some years later, I ended up living in Auburn, Alabama, just down the street from Tuskegee University, and got really connected to that community. I have some family members who are alum there. But when I think about all of that, what really stands out for me, it's the strength of community that HBCUs bring. It's the pride of being a part of that community. And if you haven't been to a Turkey Day Classic, then and there's a few people in the room that know what I'm talking about. You're missing out on something incredibly special. But it's the role that these institutions play in shaping leaders and expanding opportunities. You know, HBCUs are not just educational institutions. They're real anchors in communities. They're inspirations for many of us, and they're engines for long-term impact. So that's why it's so important that we continue to recognize and support HBCUs and HBCU leadership, because they are the ones that are working to make those institutions operate well. It also reinforces something that we believe strongly at Henry Schein, and that is that expanding access to opportunity and access to care go hand in hand. So it's with that I have the privilege to introduce someone who embodies that leadership and that impact, and that is Dr. Cherio Tiyum. He leads with a commitment to academic excellence, student development, and community advancement, all while honoring what I know to be the institution's rich legacy. He focuses on preparing students not just academically, but as leaders who contribute meaningfully to society and align closely to what I know is core to the mission of MCW and Henry Schein. So like many of the partnership we've talked about tonight, his work reflects the importance of connecting purpose and action and ensuring that opportunities translate into real outcomes for the next generation. So with that, I am pleased, and please join me in welcoming Dr. Tiyum to the Provost and Senior Vice President of Academic Affairs at the great Tuskegee University.
Good afternoon. First of all, let me take a moment to thank CEO Laurie for this great introduction. I was sitting around and turning and asking myself, who is he talking about? Let me also thank MCW, Shared Interest, the Bergman family, Eddie, Marianne, Stan, for your hospitality. Tonight, I stand before you not only as provost of the Tuskegee University, but as a witness to the profound ways in which education can not only shape destinies, but can shape lives altogether. Founded on that conviction that education empowers individuals and uplifts communities, our graduates have gone on to change the world. We've heard a mention of Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana, Nnamdi Ezekwe, the first president of Nigeria, both HBCU graduates. In this very country, we've also heard of Justice Marshall, MLK, and the transformative work that HBCUs have turned these people to be. One of the greatest and most noted historians of HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, once said that American democracy would not be but for HBCUs. And I will go to say that freedom around the world may not have been but for HBCUs. Think about it. For institutions that were created because people were literally not given access to education, we are only 3% of the total ecosystem of higher education. But for that small number, look at what we have achieved. If you look at this country, 80% of black judges are developed by HBCUs. 75% of all veterinary medicine doctors are developed by HBCUs. 70% of all dentists and black doctors come from the ranks of HBCUs. And Mr. Congressman, I acknowledge you. 40% of congressmen who happen to be black in this country come from HBCUs, including you. So without any single doubt, in my mind, HBCUs are the most consequential experiment in higher education, period, for what we have been able to do. But let me talk a little bit about my own, Tuskegee University. Today we've entered a Renaissance era. A Renaissance era that actually echoes things that used to happen in the past with Booker T. Washington, our own. And I tell you, the things that Tuskegee were able to do in the past were able to happen because of partnerships. Partnerships at the intersection of two forces, the Jewish community and Africa. I can only think of, for instance, Booker T. Washington's relationship with the Rosenwald family. And for those of you who are not familiar with the story, let me just recount it a little bit here. The Rosenwald Partnership with Tuskegee Institute allowed for over 5,000 schools for African American children across the rural South. By 1928, this collaboration has contributed to the education of roughly 1/3 of rural black children in the South. So this shared enterprise exemplifies how alliances rooted in respect and common goals can overcome systemic barriers. But as I said earlier, the other big component is Africa, because HBCUs are the thing of which Africa is made. You look at a case like Tuskegee, probably one of the greatest examples of how an institution can be impactful can be measured by two countries, Liberia, South Africa. In 1924, a Liberian president visited the US, went all over the place, including the White House. Upon return to Liberia, the journalist gave him the microphone and asked him about his visit to the US. President King, Charles King, he said, if I could go back to the US, go back to a place called Alabama, go back to a place called Tuskegee Institute, now Tuskegee University, pick that institution up and transplant it on Liberian soil, my work is done. So Tuskegee will go again to work with another great institution, the Phelps Stokes Foundation. And the result is today what you know in Liberia, in Kakata, Liberia, as the Booker T. Washington Leadership Institute, the Booker T. Washington Institute. You go to South Africa. Another young South African traveled to Tuskegee for his education, went back home to found what is now in South Africa, Fort Hare University. Why is that university consequential? Well, for those of you in the room, that is the institute that graduated Desmond Tutu. That is the institute that graduated Walter Sisulu. And yes, that is the institution that graduated Nelson Mandela. That is the legacy of HBCUs. But these are not echoes from the past. As I speak to you today, Tuskegee is training the next generation of aviators, reminding us of what the Tuskegee Airmen did. And this is a special point of pride for me. If you go around the country, you look at institutions, you look at colleges that train aviators, pilots, they account only for 15%, a 15% women population. At Tuskegee, we've been intentional and deliberate. This class accounts for 33% of women. Matter of fact, we just graduated the first woman, black, African-American woman pilot at Tuskegee University. Ali Velshi will know something about it because MSNB covered it extensively. So did CNN. You look at our School of Veterinary Medicine. Think about it. For an institution that has been in operation for 80 years, we account for 75% of all black veterinary medicine doctors in this country. And if you happen to be in any university in these United States, and the dean of the College of Veterinary Medicine is black, 100% they were trained at Tuskegee. That is the Tuskegee difference. So we train all categories of life, from the scientist to the agriculture specialist, education specialist, artist. But again, no portrait of Tuskegee will be complete without our music. And this is where I take special pride in letting this group know that we have brought with us our Golden Voices choir. And ladies and gentlemen, I look forward to all of us listening and having a treat with the Golden Voices. Once again, thank you very much.
Easy goes on the wheel, way up in the middle of the year. Easy goes on the wheel, way in the middle of of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, up in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way in the middle of the air. The big wheel run by faith, and the little wheel run by the grace of God. A little wheel in a wheel, way in the middle of the air. Better mind, my brother, how you walk on the cross. Way in the middle of the air. Your foot might slip and your soul get lost. Way in the middle of the air. Oh, Satan wears a clover shoe. Way in the middle of the air. If you don't mind, he'll slip it on you. Way in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way in the middle of the air. The big will run by faith, and the little will run by the grace of God. A wheel and a wheel, way in the middle of the air. Some go to church for the sing and some go to church for the sing and shout. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Before 6 months, days all turned out. Way in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel.
Wow. The Tuskegee University Golden Voices Concert Choir. Thank you. Thank you. It's been some pretty good entertainment here over the years, but that's something else. Thank you for that. I want to invite Kabinga Pandey, the Vice President of the MCW Board of Directors, to present the 2026 Spirit of MCW Award to a man you've heard a little bit about tonight, but you're going to hear a little more about one of the most inspirational people I've ever met, Coach Butch Hines. Kabinga, please join us.
Thank you. I don't know who thought of putting me after the Golden Voices, but so I'll try and keep it short, especially because now my nostrils can smell the food. So it'll be very short, we promise. But I have to, in terms of, I don't know if the people from the mission are here, in terms of Ms. Namatama and Mr. Victor from Zambia. Going once, going twice. I'll represent them since I'm Zambian. So the tennis program, it's very passionate to me for several reasons. First is brief background. I came to the United States, I think this is 2026, yeah, so 26 years ago now, on a tennis scholarship. So for me, this is full circle. But where Chanyanya is, where this program is, in terms of it's a rural area in Zambia. And Coach, I love you, but I'll share this. So we traveled the first day when we got there. It was 2 hours on a bumpy road. He's looking at me, he's like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Then I try to keep telling stories so that he actually stops asking me if we are there yet. And then I could see he was thinking, what am I thinking coming here? We get there, he sees the kids. He's so excited. I see he doesn't want to get back in the car because he knows the trip is long. So we get back to the hotel. He's like, yeah, I'm not going back. I'm not going back. You know, my body can't stand this. You should have told me. And I was like, Coach, yeah, I know, but the roads, you know, it's a rural area. Then we finished dinner. He's like, what time are we leaving tomorrow morning? I'm like, what is this guy doing? Okay. And then we get there following morning. And when we left, same thing. He's like, yeah, I think today was the last day we're going. We had a break in between. So I said, Coach, we have a free day. Let's go out. And he's like, okay. He comes out in shorts and flip-flops. And we went game viewing. So he looks at me. He's like, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, Coach, let's just do things, you know, as things come. So he's like, all right. So we went back to the center. We had an amazing time. And it was a journey in terms of, and I think he'll speak a little bit about just his first impressions when he was there. But one thing for me, coming from Zambia and being a tennis player, is it's a blessing that we have people that are willing to invest in an area such as Chanyanya. And part of it is there's a literacy, in terms of, it's a literacy program. And we are also helping them in terms of read. And when I saw, for me, the biggest thing, when I went back, I saw these 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds reading. And I couldn't read until I was 7. And I can speak English now, so. For them, in terms of, you realize it's not just about tennis. It's giving them a potential future. And the multiplier effect is huge. In terms of we potentially can get one person to be able to get out of that community, what they'll be able to do in terms of even just for their families and even just the generations that come is huge. So for all those that are supporting the tennis program, thank you. And without further ado, Coach, I'll call you up. And Nina. I want you to be able to present it to Coach.
Thank you, Brent. Thank you. Thank you for coming out. Yeah, say something.
Thank you all for coming. It was really fun working with my tennis coach, and I really loved helping the kids in Zambia, and I hope I can continue helping them.
Thank you, Nina.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Butch Hines. They call me Coach. I just have to shout out to a couple of people before I get started. One, my family that flew in from Dallas. I gotta say thank you. God bless you, Richie and Mary. My daughter, who just had surgery, and my granddaughter for helping getting her hair. Thank you. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank each and every one of you. This moment truly means a lot. It has a significant meaning to me, not because of the recognition, but because of the journey that it took to get here. The challenges, the hard days, is the journey that got me here. And I sincerely want to thank those who made it possible. Khalid, thank you for always having my back and making sure we had everything that we needed to succeed. Kabinga, my brother and traveling partner, whose motto was, do what you do best, and I'll take care of the rest. And with that, we introduced 90 children to the beautiful game of tennis. Nina, my 9-year-old friend and supervisor. It's an honor to work alongside you as we cleaned and re-gripped all of the donated rackets. Thank you. Eddie, from our very first simple conversation, your enthusiasm in this work was unwavering. You never gave me the opportunity to say anything but yes. God bless you, and I love you. I accept this with immense gratitude, promising to continue pushing forward, making every effort count. Thank you.
Take a minute when you get a chance to just meet Butch tonight. He's one of those few people in the world who have the effect on you that when he starts talking to you, everything else goes dark. It's like you're the only person in the world. He's like this every time with everybody he ever meets. It's why he's a great coach. It's why he inspires children. I'm sure he's got some tennis skill in there, but fundamentally, this is just a great human being. So congratulations. Congratulations to everybody tonight. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I really think you got a sense from all the different things and the different people you heard of about what this organization touches and what you have done for this organization just by being here tonight. If you've been here for the last 21 years, great. If this is your first time, thank you for what you're doing. We're changing the world one person at a time. And in a world that seems very confusing and out of control, MCW just does the consistent work of committing to people's potential, whether it's in sports or it's in dentistry or it's in education or it's in rural development. It just does what it knows how to do. I'm glad and honored to be here again this year, and I hope we do this for the next 20 some odd years. Thank you to Eddie. I want to invite you all. Remember, you can still bid on the silent auction items. I said we're going to close it at 9. We're running a little late, so maybe, but probably still at 9. So bid on them. Those curtains are about to go up, and please head over there, enjoy conversation and food and drink, and I'll see you on that side. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight.